for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
What we're finding is that the precipitation is still off to the south. It's now beginning to cross the state line into southern Missouri, but it's dry for now, at least in Springfield and areas to the north. Temperature's been watching that all day. They have not really gotten above freezing here in Springfield. We're sitting officially at 32 degrees. Now, I think in town, we may have managed to get up to about 33, but I think that snow cover and that high cloudiness today really didn't help out in terms of getting us above the freezing mark. So here we are at the start of this with temperatures right around freezing, and they're going to drop a little bit as we lose that sunshine as we go into tonight, and with precipitation moving in and there's still some dry air in place, temperatures are probably going to settle out around 31. So a concern that we are going to see a pretty good ice event, I think, from Highway 60 and north. We do have winter storm warnings in effect for areas north of Highway 60. Pretty good chunk of our area. Right along Highway 60, you can see we have winter weather advisories. Now, with a winter storm warning, the official forecast is generally a quarter to a half an inch. And here along Highway 60 with the winter weather advisory, up to a quarter of an inch. Notice areas further south, there could be a little bit of freezing rain, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to warrant an advisory, with the exception of down into northwestern Arkansas, where some of those higher elevation areas certainly are going to be looking at the potential of some significant icing. Here's our forecast. Precipitation spreads in. This is 9 o'clock. So here in Springfield by 9 o'clock, I expect freezing rain. Areas further north, along and north of Highway 54, nothing at that point, but it will continue to spread north. And most of the area down to the state line will be encompassed with freezing rain with some sleet by midnight tonight. That will continue past midnight. Notice areas south of Highway 60, it becomes a cold rain as temperatures slowly edge above the freezing mark. But I think areas along and north of Highway 60, it is going to be tough to dislodge that freezing air, and that means that we're looking at a prolonged period of freezing rain that will continue probably up to sunrise, if not even past sunrise, especially when you're looking at areas northwest of the interstate. For the morning hours on Friday, it looks like the steady freezing rain becomes more of a showery, wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, and sleet. And I think we're going to wrap things up tomorrow with some patchy drizzle or freezing drizzle and possibly some snow flurries as well. Notice temperatures really do not warm much on Friday. It looks like low 30s maybe north of the interstate, with mid to upper 30s south of the interstate. Here in Springfield, probably about 33 or 34 for a high tomorrow. Rainfall, this may be a little bit overdone, but this is going to be a heavy precipitation event, and that's what's playing into this high ice potential. Now, this is one of our models that we have provided for us through our provider, and I think it's actually doing a pretty good job. It's sort of in the middle of some of the guidance that I have to look at on the low end and the high end. So as far as tonight is concerned into tomorrow morning, it looks like Highway 60 again looks to be about the cutoff. Once you get south of Highway 60, those amounts will quickly drop off. But here in Springfield, I think we may be looking at a pretty significant icing event, especially on the north side of town and north of the interstate, as opposed to south of Highway 60, where amounts should fall off. Areas further east along Highway 60, you can see how, again, that is about the cutoff, with areas south of Highway 60 into Douglas County not seeing too much in the way of ice overnight tonight. I do think this is a little bit underdone. I do think that we'll probably see amounts maybe upwards of a quarter of an inch even into Shannon County, and especially north of Highway 60. That's where it looks like we're looking at maybe in excess of a half an inch to possibly 3/4 of an inch. Also want to point out areas to the south of the state line where we have that higher elevation area. That's an area too where we could see some pretty significant totals of freezing rain. So with all that said, I do think that there could be some tree and limb damage as a result of the ice overnight tonight, especially where we have that winter storm warning. Bridges could become slick. I think roads are going to tend to stay in pretty good shape. Folks, be mindful that there could be power outages overnight tonight. Right now, I would expect at least some spotty power outages developing as the night wears on and that ice accumulates.
So drag out the extra blankets and have the flashlight nearby too. All right, we'll be keeping a close eye on it for you at home. Thanks, Jamie. Well, Missouri was